I married the wrong guy. The theme of the day is I married the wrong guy. I married the wrong guy. This is a problem, yeah? So I want to start with a story. I have a student named Sally. Sally said that, first of all, she has 4 kids under 10, and she married an attorney. And when she met him, she said for her entire childhood, she was, struggled with financial situations her whole life. And for the first time in her life, she married David, and she felt a level of, he's got this. Like, I can finally exhale after all of these years. She's not a crazy one. She's not going to go buying, designer purses and this and that. She doesn't have to worry, like, what's going to be with the rent at the end of the month. Very, very, she said for the first couple of years of marriage, she felt very content that she married the right guy. And then as the kids grew, the expenses grew. Fancy that. More diapers, more whatever. Things got a little tighter. That wouldn't have bothered her so much. But what bothered her so much is her husband, the big shot attorney, really did not know how to manage finances. It doesn't come with the law degree how to do it. So for one example she gave is that he moved into this fancy schmancy office, and decorated it gorgeous, top of the line, thinking it would get him a higher level clientele or something, like he would attract other people. Totally didn't. So it was a total wash. They spent tens of thousands of dollars to move to this other thing. And every month the rent there was way more than the other. And that, like she saw, that now I don't have enough diapers for my kids because he's done this thing. Other thing, he took many, many cases on contingency, which means that he only gets paid if he wins the case. And a case can sometimes drag on for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. So plus another thing she said is that he never gets the bills out on time. So people owe him money and he, forgets to bill. So she is just fit to be tied. Not only that, when he comes home, he totally overindulges the kids. So she's disappointed in his ability to provide for her, and she's disappointed in him for his overindulging the kids and not being the father, the daddy that she'd always wanted him to be. She admitted to me that deep down inside, she feels like she married the wrong guy. He isn't who she thought he was, and he isn't turning out to be what she needs in a marriage. And she says, sometimes I'm laying in bed next to my husband, she said, and he'll be like fast asleep and I'll be crying into my pillow. I'll just be so lonely that what am I doing here with this guy? And she said, and it's not like I could leave him financially. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. But I don't even want to leave him because I love him. But I just spend most of my time being disappointed that I married the wrong guy and what my life would be like if I married the right guy. So this is Sally and David. So my question for you, did she marry the wrong guy?
If you would like to comment.
And the question on the table is, did she marry the wrong guy? So I want to hear from people here also. She didn't.
No.
Well, okay, why do you say that?
Clearly, Hashem is smarter than all of us, and he put us with who we're meant to be. And these exact things that she's struggling with now are picked perfectly for her as that she needs to do right now to work on, to realize that they're a team and they're in this together. And these are the areas that she needs growth and work. And she can complement him if she sees these things clearly, and she can help find solutions and work together to build what she wanted. She's lucky that she has a vision of things she wants, but she needs to know that they don't just appear. You need to work very hard together to get there in a very positive and helpful ways, so that he has so many qualities and she sees that they're not at a bad place, but she's right. Just her viewpoint has to totally shift, and she has to really.
Okay, so I hear it and I agree with you, but I just, poor lady. Like,
what
here
if
she
doesn't
is.
want to change? What if
she has to change her viewpoint that, like, he's supposed to follow her script of everything that she wants, he has to exactly be. It doesn't work that way in life. Everybody who's going to work in a relationship knows that. You have to do the work yourself. She has to start, really putting out her wants and needs, thinking of her expectations. Are they realistic? She has a lot of work for herself to do before she can start turning to him and saying, you're supposed to be doing this, that, and the other, and then I'm going to be happy. Her happiness is going to come from her finding what really matters and what's really important and getting there herself. And once she does that, things are just going to fall into place. I'm not saying there's not going to be work along the way. Of course there's going to be work along the way, but it's going to be good work. It's going to be rewarding work. It's going to get her where she wants to be.
I sort of feel, though, in general, that probably money is probably one of the hardest challenges. I know they say a sick child or all those other things. They're very hard, not, God forbid, taking away from those. But I find sometimes a sick child brings a couple together, or a tragedy brings a couple together. Money, I don't care who you are, it pulls people apart because there's something so hard when you're struggling in your marriage. It's like, I'm married and I want to feel, as you said, as Sally said, she wants to feel secure. She wants to feel taken care of. And here, the one thing that she needs is not being provided for her. It is very hard on a marriage.
Yeah, it's very hard.
So I don't know if it has a
simple answer.
Unless they win the lottery.
It's not something that necessarily she could work on herself. Like there's a fear of her being on the street, like she sees somebody that's not. But I'm saying no. But things are
manage the money better. I feel like he has his money.
Right, that's not what I'm hearing. I'm not hearing there are a couple with like
No, but there are because not yet.
Yes,
but it could be
exactly.
going that way.
Correct. That's her next door. That's her next
That
door.
breaks my heart is her lying in bed at night crying into her pillow. She's
She
not
has
crying
to
into her pillow
communicate.
because she's worried about paying the rent.
Yes.
She's crying into her pillow because she's saying, I thought this man would come home every day at 6 o'clock and the bills would have been paid a week in advance,
so.
and he would save the children exactly like I thought he would say to the children, and his office would be very simple, but all the clients would be lining up outside his door. She has a vision of what she wants. It's not because she's worried that she doesn't have food to put on the table.
No, it's not necessarily
Yeah.
that, but it's like
Openness.
I'm sure her husband's depressed.
What'd you
Things
say?
aren't going well.
I don't think it's a money thing that she's upset about. I think
yeah.
she didn't marry the
100%.
wrong guy because he's not rich. It has to
She's
do
not
with
saying he's not rich
No,
enough.
no, exactly. She's not saying that.
she's saying that in the beginning, when there was money, these issues didn't really bother her. That's what I'm feeling. Like she's
These issues would have come up anyways when the kids got older and life got
He's just
busier.
not like-
No. That's the point, though. That wouldn't have been an issue. His office, if it was successful and it brought in clients, she would be sitting here right now every night saying, I love you, honey. You made the best decision.
Real love? Is that real
Who
work?
cares? Who cares?
Okay, that's not a real marriage.
It's still her reality. It's still her reality. No, it's not. It's real.
Because everything went well, she loves him, and the minute it
Yes,
happens, she's
that's why they say it.
Marriage
Yes,
is crazy.
that is the reality of marriage for many people. When the going is good, it's great, and when it goes bad, many people fall apart because what did she marry him for? She always needed. She came from a poor home. Her entire life, she worried and stressed about money. He was going to be her
Ticket, her ticket.
Her ticket
Yeah.
out, and now he's not. So she's back in her sadness of her childhood.
And her kids, what about her 4 kids?
What?
She doesn't, they don't matter.
You
all of a
can't
sudden
take
anyway, but she
away
can't
what her
provide for
emotions
them.
are. You can't take away what she's feeling.
Her husband, they can devise a plan to have
Correct, it doesn't matter. You can't. Yes,
Wait, one at a
correct.
time, guys. I'm missing
Correct.
everything. Hold on a
You
second.
and I
Wait.
could think like that, but she's.
Wait,
in it
what did
right
she
now.
say?
She
We
said
missed
that's
what you-
exactly what she needs. That's what God wants from her right now. That's us thinking like that because we've been in a class for 2 years. That's not someone who's in the muck right now,
But you and I
feeling
both know one thing,
depressed.
Marie. But you and I both know one thing, that I'm not minimizing her pain and what she's going through. My heart feels for her as she's lying in bed and feeling like stuck in her life and like, oh my gosh.
But it's not about the money that she's crying.
It's not
You don't
that. I
see-
feel for her because it's the growth that she has to go to get to a better place. And that's like
Correct.
a whole long
Listen, it is about the money. I was there 1 year into our marriage. We were poor as poor can be. My in-laws were helping us. We didn't have money. I was pregnant. I wanted a dress. I wanted to feel like a person because I felt fat. And living in LA, I felt fat and miserable, even worse. Okay, with all these skinny blondes, I did not feel good. So I went to Pee in the Pod on Beverly Hills and I found myself a dress. I remember, beautiful with little embroidered flowers. It wasn't even so great. Okay, it was one of those like back then, those pregnancy, maternity, like robe type tan things. And it was $125. And I came from when I was single. I worked and I spent my money anywhere I wanted and I didn't think much about it. And so I was thinking $125, it's a joke. I could totally do this. But I knew I had to ask my husband, obviously, because now I'm a married couple. And I came home and I said, I found this amazing dress. I would like to buy it. And he said, I'm sorry, we don't have the money. And I went into a closet and I cried for 4 days.
Different.
No, it's not different.
Married.
No.
She's married for 10
Hello?
years. She has
What
kids.
difference
She has a
does it
relationship.
make?
What's wrong with
Hello?
you? She has history with this man.
It doesn't matter. I literally, you know what the feeling I felt was?
You just met him.
I didn't meet him. I was 2 years into my marriage. I said, why am I married to this guy? This is not what I got married for. I could be single and happy.
You wouldn't think like that.
10 years later, I was in the same boat when we went through financial issues.
And you didn't think, why did I?
Yes, I did. I was ready to. I literally said, I did not get married to be correct. Here I am because of a lot of work.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
I understand her because her feeling is so real. I said, I don't need to be. I could be single and doing what I want versus sitting there in a marriage where my husband is supposed to be the man that provides for me and he's not.
After 10 years, that God gave you this husband and 4 kids.
Sorry, say that again.
The thing I want to say is the message for the listeners, really, and for everybody is, you're saying, okay, because we've been here for 2 years and we've done the work and we know. Yes, we're not minimizing her pain and what she's going through. It's something she has to go through. It's part of her
Secret of her
journey in
life.
and she has to go through it, and it's hard. But the message is that we can all say that if you're going to put in that work, and it's hard work, and it doesn't make it less emotional or less scary or less exhausting, but you put in that work, and you will come out at the other end, and you will just have loved the journey.
So what's the work?
What's the work? Right, exactly.
The work is
What's the
sitting
work?
right on your desk, right?
That's
On Amazon.
No, but the okay.
She obviously didn't. If God gave her this man, it's not the wrong guy. That's what she has to realize. No one. If you have a munah and you marry this guy, yeah, you have troubles. God wants you to overcome them. He doesn't want you to just run away and like be a chick. Yeah,
For sure not. No one's
so she
saying
didn't marry the wrong guy.
But it's not. It's not so simple.
Hold on, what you were going to say something.
I'm looking at Figgy because I think we're on the same page.
Which is what? What's the page?
I personally know somebody, I have a friend who's gone through Gehenna. I mean, literally with many of her children and being sick and anything you could imagine, this happened. But then when Parnassa hit, that was it. That really destroyed her marriage.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, she couldn't get over that
Yeah.
Why?
because you know, a lot of the blame, she just put blame on her husband.
Financially, could directly
So what
blame
do you
on your
leave, and then
husband.
you even like
No, but financial is something that you
despair.
could directly blame on a husband. As bad as that sounds, sickness, you know, came from God, a sick child.
And you know what?
Doesn't matter.
Bayis shall have Parnassa.
No, it's-
So, right.
That's, you know, easy said, not so easy done. I know many people that are putting a lot of work into their marriage and are working hard, and they're not seeing
Wow.
Parnassa. That's not the bracha that they're
It's on
seeing.
fire.
So it's very hard. It's very hard because it's not
gonna
a
get-
natural.
So what do you?
Seriously, Leah, you had to pick the most heated topic.
You guys are good. So,
I don't think
Yes,
it's only
yes,
Parnassa.
yes.
so
Totally has to
I
be
think
there's one thing. Hold on a sec. Let me.
We're
still
not letting you in on
It's-
this.
She's also
You need to drink a little.
I've got whiskey in here. That's it.
Also, she's saying that she's spoiled as well. I'm sure he's depressed.
I think
the way
she's
he is.
angry
Things
at him.
aren't going the way he planned. He has a depression. She has to deal with
No, he
his
doesn't
lack.
have depression. He's buying the kids all kind of
No,
stuff.
because of depression.
Yes, because that makes
That's a
it
depression.
feel good. It makes it feel
It's not so let's replant her in another marriage where the man is bringing home enough money. He has a very successful law career. He has the fancy office with all the clients, and he's bringing home all the money. But he still comes home. I don't know what that meant, overindulging, because he's not the father she wanted him to be either, okay? So, and she's not connecting with him the same way either. So now she's lying in bed about something else, upset about something else.
No, she would totally tolerate it. I'm telling you. I know.
Absolutely not.
She would.
Oh my goodness.
She would. She would overindulge, and she would be like, oh, like she'd feel so much other pieces of her life would feel calm.
Really?
She had no
what she wanted?
Overindulge because he gives them stuff? No, that's not enough.
Isn't what she wanted?
I don't know.
It's not talking
No,
about.
she's saying a different. She's saying a different issue.
No.
What she said is he's not the father
them-
she has.
Because what? Because he's giving them things.
No, not that.
He's overindulging and
He's overindulging with money they don't have.
No,
Correct.
she could speak to him about it.
Correct. He's overindulging with money they don't have.
And what else is
So that to her is
yeah, that was
history.
it. That was
I
it.
think if you had planted her in a different marriage, there would be issues just the same. You can't just say money solving every issue. Yes, it makes a terrible situation even more terrible that you have to deal with and go through.
They have to
But it doesn't
communicate
make
a little
it
better. Maybe she has to, like,
100%.
maybe I could help with the finances.
Okay, let's go back.
She
Let's
could
go back
help with
and
the
look at this
finances
for a second.
somehow.
There's
Get things in
one
order.
overriding. You guys are awesome. Okay, this is fun. Is this fun? This is fun. Okay, one overriding thing that we're missing, and having the knowledge and the information of what that is shifts everything. And that is,
Please tell us.
stay tuned for next week. We're going to tell you. We're going to continue. Cliffhangers. Is a person, every human being, you who are listening to the show and watching the show, everybody in this room, have pictures in their head of how life should be, of how it could be, of how we want it to be. And these pictures are destroying your life. The disparity between where we stand and where we want to stand, and what reality is and what we wished reality was, the gap is so huge that robs us of any sense of happiness, contentment, and joy in our lives. So this issue, did she marry the right person or not? Here's the key. To the extent that her pictures in her head, in Sally's head, David is not who she expected. It's not who she wanted. It's not who she thinks she should be married to. To the extent that she's married to her pictures rather than her husband is the defining factor on whether she's crying into her pillow or not. Understanding that the very first place most women go when they have challenges in their marriage, it's easy as pie. I mean, come on. It's like, he's the wrong guy. That's the easiest thing. Yes, I yell at him and I'm harsh with him. Yes, I'm very moody and I put him down. Yes, I peck away at his self-esteem. Forget that. He's the wrong guy. He's not who I should have married. He's not who I could have married. He's not who he should be. He's not who he could be. And those pictures rob us from closeness, from happiness. Forget about closeness, happiness, okay? So it's the first place we turn. You know, maybe people are a little more mature and they realize and they appreciate certain things. That, you know, maybe you're the lucky ones who don't go there immediately. Maybe you've matured and you don't go there immediately, but it's pretty standard. As soon as any bit of unhappiness, as soon as anything doesn't fit our pictures, we immediately go to, it's him. It's the wrong guy. Goes back to Adam and Chava where he's blaming her for the snake. That girl that you gave me, that woman that you gave me, God, she's the one who made me eat this. It's in our DNA to blame. Okay? So here's the secret. You ready? Hold on a second. I just wanted to see. Is there anybody on the line right now? We need you. Who has you'll be anonymous because nobody knows who you are. You could be from all over the planet Earth. That you feel like you married the wrong guy. I want to coach you through it. So people say that the husband is somebody you can blame if the money doesn't come in. I'm going to disavow that and take that off the board right now. It's not reality. And that is, Rav Moshe Cordovero says all blessing comes from God through the husband and to the wife. That means if the wife is a little bitty receiver like this, that's what they're going to receive. If she's a big receiver like this, that's what they're going to receive. There is no limit to the size of the vessel that the wife can be. The bigger the vessel she is, the more blessings, including parnas, including money, the more blessings will come to her. No limit. Can God fill a bathtub full of blessing? Like, hello, a swimming pool, an ocean? No limit. Now, there's another Gemara that says that the woman, it holds all the blessing in the home. And it's like, wait a minute, if the man's providing, I don't get it. No, the man provides it. He's the source of the blessing. The woman is the one who holds it. So the blessing in the home for parnasa, for money, is dependent on the wife. So if your husband gets a big fat check for, huge amount of money, it's because you're a bigger vessel. And there's a direct correlation. And the more you receive from your husband, the more blessing will come to your husband. This is not my brilliance, okay?
What does it mean to be a bigger vessel?
Bigger.
Whatever it means is, I know one thing. I was to blame that I didn't get the $125 dress. Because I was definitely not the blessing. And I now know that. I do know that.
So what the blessing is, I'm just going to give you a little shorthand. This is like a one step. How do you become a bigger vessel? Like, hello, like that would be a good thing to know. All you need to know for now is whatever your husband gives to you, say thank you. So if he says nice dress, don't say this piece of junk, this schmata, whether this is old thing. That would be called not being a vessel, not receiving his blessing. If he says, I like your sweatshirt and it's like got rips and shreds and it's shredded on the bottom and it's got baby stains all over it, whatever, say, thanks, thank you. So it's just being a receiver. We're going to get into it. Don't worry. That was the shorthand, but you can start now. Okay, fine. Now let's get to your question, which was.
And also, I have one other question. I mean,
Sure.
What if it's not that? It's not rich or poor, or have money or don't have money. It could be you tend to go more. You're more conservative. He's more, or he's more conservative, and you like to spend more. Like there's just so much in between
Difference
all
in
that.
finances.
Like that could be also, or he's giving money to. Spending money on the kids because he just for no reason, and she's worried about paying tuition.
Right.
Like, that's a big issue. How are you supposed to see that in a positive way?
What's your question?
If you're the wife and you're worried about how your kids pay, or they need a tutor, and he doesn't have money to pay a tutor, but he's taking them for ice cream. Like your priorities, you feel like his priorities are messed up.
Using a nice car.
Right.
All right. I'm making up. I'm
Like
just
different
making up.
viewpoints on what's
Right. I think there's a lot of struggle in between the rich
Yeah.
and poor. There's no rich and
Necessities
poor.
are necessities versus luxury.
Right,
yeah.
Struggles. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is a totally a function of communication. And we're going to get into that. We're going to do whole sections on communications. But the issue that we're talking about now is issues of what your pictures of what's going to happen. So everything is ripe for a conflict. You can have, he's leasing a fancy car and you're struggling with, you don't have enough money to buy the kids the clothes they need or something, right? So that is a perfect setup for, what's that called? A perfect storm, right? It's a perfect storm to have a huge conflict with, or thought of another way, it's a particular challenge. How am I going to bridge between the two of us? How am I going to make a bridge? This is really whatever. So whether it is like no sense saying anything now about it. He just signed the contract. He's got 2 years. Mark on your calendar for whatever, a year and a half, and say, by the way, BT Dubs, I would like to, discuss, how we should spend things. He wants to go on a vacation. You want a cheapy one. He wants a whatever, those kinds of things. They all can be bridged with enough, but you have to use forethought. You have to think about how am I going to handle this.
You want to be able to look up to that person too, right? So like the husband needs to be able to look up to the wife. If he thinks she's irresponsible with money or whatever,
And it's
I'm not sure. Remember what you're going to say, but I'm not sure that that's true because God made some people responsible for money, some people not responsible for money. So, he made us all different. So why would he say only if you're this certain way where you're responsible with money, am I going to, until you become that person, I can't respect
but not
you.
responsible. It's almost like being selective where it's good for you. For my sister in her group in New York had actually called me this week regarding one of the women in her group coming in and saying she was really bothered because she wants to take baby pictures of her child, and they're expensive. They're $350 to $500 for a session, and to her it's very important. And she told her husband, "I'd love to do baby pictures," and he said, "What do we need? We could go to JCPenney or some easy place, and for $12.99 or $20 we could get an entire package." And she said, "No, it's so different when it's done the right way, and this is something we can have for forever." Anyways, she let it go, but what was she complaining about? That just the week prior he spent $750 on box seats for a game that he took her out to, a basketball game, which she had zero interest whether she was sitting in box seats or whether she was sitting at home munching popcorn in her bed. Like, it did not matter to her. Right. So in her mind, she was really grappling with, when it's good for him, he'll spend the money. But when it's good for me, how does that?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah, it's really like putting communication to the test.
Beyond.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The question is,
how does she talk? Meaning, does she just say, as a good wife, I just say, okay, let's go to JCPenney, which she doesn't want to do.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing.
She's not going to be happy with
whoever. But hold on a second. The issue here, the issue here is that he has a sense of control and she feels powerless in the situation.
Control. He's free with his money.
Right.
That's so not important to him. Why are you spending? He doesn't even understand the concept of spending $500 on baby pictures.
Maybe she feels he's not being responsible. He has a family. He should be doing X, Y, and Z. She's probably right.
They have different priorities. Yeah.
Something else important to her.
He has to explain that to him better.
Yeah,
She has to learn how to do her thing. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, the issue is there anything, ladies, anything that your husband wouldn't do for you if you approached him in the right way? Right?
And he understood.
And he understood
How
it.
much
And he gets
it
it.
meant to you. Yeah.
And it could be that she goes to, that maybe she lets a little time pass or whatever. Maybe she needs to do the baby before the whatever. Maybe the baby's turning 1 or, so she's got a time crunch there mentally.
Smash party.
Right.
Yeah. So there you go. So the issue is that she has, there is a way she can communicate with him that he can hear it. And she just needs to find the way. First of all, she has to decide how important it is to her. If it's that important to make a big deal, if she's got 10 things that are at the, she's feeling that way about, then, maybe this one isn't that priority. But if it is, she has to, we're going to go through communication.
It also starts with her realizing that the box seats, as much as you and I would be like $700, it was important to him. And she needs to appreciate that a little bit if she wants him to appreciate what she's about.
That's the point.
As
She
long as
feels
it's a
like,
situation.
why are women always being the ones that need to figure out
It's not.
how to? It is, because her husband did not, in her mind, when he spent $750 on the box ticket, she didn't say boo. Because she instantaneously understood this is important to him.
Right,
he
right.
works hard. He should have it. She's like, why am I always trying to have to explain it to him?
Okay, so hold on a second. We had a question 2 weeks ago about this. Hold on a second. And we talked about the fact why it's so not fair. Women have to do all the work, right? But we're uniquely gifted in this. This is the superwoman. We are super women, and we know how to manipulate the relationship and such. Not manipulate. Maybe manipulate sometimes. I'm saying, no.
She's like,
We're all into manipulation.
The control is in your hand. But tired of what? Tired of doing the
You don't want to
relationship?
be super women.
But hold on a second.
Do sit back and just be.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Once in a while, just like
let them throw in the towel. Like, don't make it so hard.
Didn't we have this discussion in 2004? Can you just listen to it again so we could just...
No, but here's the problem. Here's the problem, ladies. With this, right? The husband is not about to turn around and make the relationship and every subtlety and every little wave of the ripple in his number one priority in life. It's just not their makeup. They're not designed that way. Yes, we've spent the last 60 years trying to say, okay, men and women are same with this, and you should whatever. Again, I don't want to get started on that, but I'm just saying men are different. And they're doing and they're creating and they're moving forward and they're going, whatever. And they're trying to provide for us. They're trying to take care of us. But they don't, the little subtleties, that's not their strong suit. Everybody varies. I'm dying to know what you guys are talking about.
I just said marijuana just became legal in California. Just make a little brownie.
Okay, we did not hear that. We did not hear. Okay, so the point is, hold on a second. The point is, that there's there's something that men bring to the table and there's something that women bring to the table. And when they get crossed over and confused and whatever, and then we resent that they're not women, find a girlfriend. This is they're the men and the strength that they have and that we need them to have. If they're more like us, and what did he mean by that? Like in other words, someone can say something, so we're like, gee, well, yeah. And then we talk to our girlfriend and say, yeah, what did she say? Whatever. If our husband was like that, can you imagine? He would never get anything done. I mean, they're different and we have to embrace that difference. And I'm just saying that rather than being, you said you're tired. Okay. He's also probably tired of trying to make you happy. And you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work. A lot of work, you especially. No, joke. No, God forbid. Let me tell you, my poor husband, he wants me to write a book called, we have this long, 20 years, 10 years, whatever, how to take care of a high maintenance woman or something. Some kind of thing like that. It's like, he's not getting away with nothing. So, I get it. I'm very hard to make happy. And I think most, there's some people who are chilled and whatever, but most women, and the poor guy, like one day he could totally make me happen and he'll do the exact same thing the next day. Like he was, I should tell my stories, but anyway, he was setting the table. I asked him, can you help set the table? So he's setting the table and I started talking. And so he, I want to get everything right because, I got this weird thing. I like to serve the food hot and everyone has their drinks and their table. Everything's done. So when it comes off, they're not eating it 10 minutes later. It's really my mishagas. But anyway, so I'm talking to him and he's setting the table. And so I turned to him to ask him something and he froze to listen to what I had to say. And the table had to be set because the food was about to come off the plate. So I said, how come you can continue doing it. He said, yesterday you said I'm always doing something while you're talking. So I'm trying to freeze so that I can, right? I'm trying to freeze listening to what you're saying. I said, oh, you're right. Just do whatever, It's such a male-female thing, but then 2 days back to back, okay? The poor guys, this is what they have to do, all right? And I mean, I tell them, I'm like, you poor thing, what'd you say?
Women are moody.
We're moody, and we change, and for 24 hours later, I
Also,
thought,
she expected him to understand that you need to listen to me and sit at the table at the same time. He was out trying, okay, you said I should listen, so now I'm going to listen. I'm doing the right thing. It's such a table.
And he's standing there with forks in his hands.
Perfect sense. Like, of course you listen.
Well, now when the food has to come out, you have to do
right. It's a guy thing and girl thing.
Instructions.
Exactly.
So they're not all the stuff.
Right. So, but here's the issue with that. The issue is that men and women are different. And what's the matter?
Apologizing to the men in the room.
That's the audio engineers.
I'm sorry, I'm not men bashing.
That's when. Oh no, we're definitely not men bashing. It's different. It's different. And we have to understand that and embrace who we are and contribute what we can contribute. And that is, we are the most amazing in relationships. Not normal how good we are in relationships. And yeah, it's exhausting and it's tiring. We're always the ones. It's our strong suit. That's our strong suit. Okay. Oh my goodness. Let me give you. Okay. Here's what I want to give you. I want to talk about these pictures. Okay. This is so crucial. This is a game changer, a life changer, if you can take this on. So I just want to tell you, this is a joke. Actually made up a joke. I'm so proud of myself. Okay. You can pass this along and say, Leah Richeimer made it up, or forget that. But here's a joke. No. Okay. No. Here's the joke. A single guy, he gets after 120. He's lived this long life. He kept looking for his bride, so he never got married. So he gets up to God and he says, God, it's not fair. Everybody got married. They had a family. They had children. They had, you never sent me my wife. It's not fair. And God said, I did send her. You swiped left. Now, for those of you, I think that I said, I'm afraid people, because I know a lot of people in that age group who know what swipe left is. They think I'm like, it's how do you explain swiping left? I don't know. It's something where you swipe right means yes. Is that what it is? Okay. Well, but I hope there's other things with it. Otherwise, people think I'm on Tinder. Swipe left. Yeah. Right. Swipe left. Bye-bye. Yeah. So I was afraid to tell this joke because I thought I'm on this thing. But I'm not on this thing, but I know what swiping left is. But here's the reason I tell the story. Okay, that's the joke. Okay, so you can spread that joke.
Yeah,
it'll be funny. I'm going to wait. I always want to start a joke because then it goes and goes and goes, and then someone tells you it. That's the real proof. As if it was viral. Huh? That's right. Then if it comes back, so we'll see. Okay, but anyways, here's the point. The point is that the reason that guy didn't get married is because he had this perfect picture in his head of who she was, and she didn't look the way he looked. So swipe left. But this is in culture. This is like seeped into our day-to-day life. Our husband doesn't behave, and we swipe left. Like that, he's not it. This is where the whole, but I married the wrong guy. I swipe left.
Today, even more so because of social media, you see everyone else's husband.
Yeah.
So clearly in your face. Yeah. Oh, he bought her that. Oh, he took that vacation with her. There's so much that you're seeing that's
so heavy duty.
Yeah, you're totally.
But some of these things also in life are just like, thank God for the challenges that you have when they come, and then when you appreciate it and you thank God, even if it's a hard challenge, the challenge will go away because it won't be. You won't
need to overcome it.
Thank you for this challenge.
Everybody knows the story where everyone came in and they could. Right, they came into a room. I don't know. I'm embellishing the story. Whatever. They all came in and they wrote down all their problems and they put it in a sack and they said, "Okay, you can go home with any sack you want." And everyone read everybody else's sack and everybody went home with their own sack. Whatever problems they came in with, they went home with their like. Oh my gosh, I couldn't deal with that one. Our issues and our problems are uniquely designed by God Himself to make us grow, and it's a problem that we can solve. We're never given anything that we can't overcome. Okay, I'm going to quickly go through. Here are the where our pictures in our head are. We like our pictures better than the reality of our life. So we live in this fantasy of how things should be, where we want things to be. Here's a couple of things to understand. By the post office, you get wrong mail and you have to go bring it, or you have to return mail or whatever, okay? The post office can get the wrong address. God never gets the wrong address. Never, ever, not once, not ever got the wrong address. There's nothing that ever happened to you that wasn't preordained and supposed to happen to you, including marrying your spouse. You can know with absolute certainty, and to those of you who still are like, they're listening to this whole show and saying, but I really, I hear what you're saying, Leah, but I really did marry the wrong guy, okay? Ain't true, because there's nothing that goes on in this world that God Himself didn't, I find these things hard to, rubber stamp. Yeah, I talk with my hands and these things are like exactly in the wrong place. But anyway, there's nothing that happens in this world that God did not rubber stamp. Now, whether that, later on the marriage didn't work out, or, there's issues, there's lots of things. And can you marry your bashert, the one you're destined to? Can you not marry him if you pray and pray and pray for it to work out with this guy and it's the wrong one? There's a lot of stuff like that, way above my space scale. Okay. So that's all very airy fairy stuff. I don't exactly wrap my head around, but I know one thing for sure. When Adam and Chava were placed on this planet Earth eons ago, at that very moment, God knew, and even predating that, God knew exactly who you personally were going to marry. You ever think you're eating an apple, and that apple, the seeds from that apple came from another apple and from another tree and from another tree, all the way back to the Garden of Eden? Like, that's just mind-boggling. And the same too with the physical world, also the spiritual world. If you stood under the chuppah, under the wedding canopy with your husband, that was destiny. That was God's rubber stamp that was meant to happen. So there's no, maybe I married the wrong guy. Okay. Okay. With that in mind, you need to know that everything is in your power to make your marriage work. You have the relationship skills. You're learning tools to make that happen. We're learning our Masorah, our traditions from 3,000 years that have stood the test of time. It's the one thing, the biggest thing that you can do to improve your own life is to rid yourself of whatever pictures you have of how life should be or could be. If you take your pictures, like your kid's not doing the thing they want, that's your pictures. Who are they? What's going on with them? Listen. Your husband, he shouldn't have, the Sally, he shouldn't have spent all that money on the fancy thing. He should be doing the billing better. He should take less contingency things and more things that pay the bills. Should. Now, I'm not saying she has to stand back and say, oh well, that's life. Maybe, frankly, maybe that would be the best thing she could do and just be happy with whatever her portion is. And maybe God will, in his mercy, give her more. I don't know. But there certainly is something she could do in terms of, she could sit down and talk to him, I'm going to take over your billing for you. I realize, I've got Thursday afternoons free. I'm going to help your billing so that things don't fall through the cracks. I think you could use it. Who knows? Who knows what action she could take? But taking action rather than lying in bed. Look, everybody's cried into their pillow. Okay. This is a common human condition. Okay. Crying into our pillow does not mean that we married the wrong guy. It just means we cried into our pillow when we need to fix something. Maybe something's not fixable. Maybe we have to learn to accept things. Maybe we have to learn to appreciate things in a different way. But it starts with examining what your pictures are that you started with. Okay. Here's the problem. The minute anything goes wrong in the marriage, the very easiest route to go is I married the wrong guy. Because then we don't have to do any work. We don't have to work on ourselves. We don't have to alter our head to get the pictures out of our head. It's his fault. So recognizing that huge obstacle in our life, God willing, will help us to see, I'm not even going there. What can I do? What action can I take right now? What action can I take to improve my situation? This is not about being a victim. It's about being empowered to do things that improve our own lives. And understanding that God put us in this situation, it's so relieving to not feel like it's just arbitrary bad luck. Knowing that we were put here in this exact situation is exactly what gives us the power to say, okay, what does God want from me right now? What can I do? What can I do to forward the action? What can I do to help myself? Okay. All right. I'm going to give the secret of the day. Secret of the day today is remove the escape hatch. The escape hatch if he's the wrong guy, so that you can get on with loving your husband. The more love you shower on your husband, this is very interesting. The more love you shower on your husband, the more love and contentment you will feel in your marriage. Meaning the more you give him love, this is Rav Dissler, okay? The more love you shower on him and you forgive him he was standing there with a fork and he didn't, just set the table already, whatever it is. The more love you can shower on him and forgive him and just let's water off a duck's back and just keep giving him love and doing sweet things for him and buying him his little chocolate things that he likes, even though his doctor said he should cut down. So buy him 1 instead of 4, whatever it is. The more love you shower on your husband, guaranteed, the more love and contentment you will feel in your life. Ready for the homework?
Yeah.
Okay. Find one thing this week that you're grateful for about your husband that you didn't notice before. Okay. So one thing, we've done these homeworks over the last couple of years of gratitude and appreciation, whatever. But this week we're doing it in the context of the whole work, the work of getting past our pictures of what we think life should be like, is to appreciate what we have. And that's the homework for this week. Okay, everybody, thank you. This is the Ladies Talk Show with your host, Leah Richeimer. Stay tuned every week, Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call in. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next week. Thanks for coming.